Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. So let's do that a little bit longer. This is will be number 61. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hello, KZOOMers.
Hey, everybody.
So good to be hallelujah in praise together. And, you know, this whole hallelujah kind of practice that I've been immersed in is really about raising the vibration of creating a different inner atmosphere. And that's really, you know, what my practice, you know, demands, really. And the reason I need to do that is because there are foxes
The foxes.
in our vineyard. and they kind of run wild in the vineyard of the mind, just at the wrong time, just when the vines are in bloom, and so the vineyard in the Song of Songs is really the place of our love, the place where we meet each other, and the place where the power of prophecy is cultivated. And then when those pesky foxes, start running around in the mind, they take different forms, but they kind of fill up and clutter the space and kind of do a little bit of a sabotage of our spiritual path. And and so, the idea of catching the foxes doesn't mean putting them in a cage. It means raising our own awareness so that we don't become the victim. Really, awareness, in a way, when we bring our awareness to what's in the mind, the content of the mind doesn't then have the power to sabotage our journey, to block us, to keep us from our expansion. And so that key is awareness, and the key is creating like that wide open spaciousness that is not just always cluttered with thought. And so I've been this week, the week of the foxes, I've been thinking a lot about like you know, what drives those foxes really, why do they, why are they so persistent? Yes, why are they so persistent? And and I realized the place in the mind doesn't like to not know. Whenever there's this space of uncertainty, of not knowing, um, the foxes come in and they want to grab onto something. They want some certainty in the midst of uncertainty. And I came across recently this teaching from Eckhart Tolle, um, and he says, this is the instruction. He says, become at ease with the state of not knowing. This takes you beyond mind, because the mind is always trying to conclude and interpret. It is afraid of not knowing. So when you can be at ease with not knowing, you have already gone beyond the mind. When you can be at ease with not knowing, you've already gone beyond the mind. A deeper knowing that is non conceptual then arises out of that state. So, this deeper knowing rises up in us, um, in that place of not knowing. Um, but the foxes don't like that. The foxes sort of represent the clutches of the ego that just says, "I need to know," and um,
You've
and
heard of monkey mind. This is
yes,
fox mind.
fox mind, yeah. So this week, the curriculum is really, can I catch the foxes? I mean, bring awareness too. And sometimes I call those foxes my doubts, my fears, my cynicism, distrust, or worry that run wild through the mind. Can I catch them? Meaning interrupt their momentum before they do too much damage. And then can I redirect my being? Can I allow this deeper knowing to arise out of the place of not knowing? And I think it's the place of the heart. The wisdom of the heart rises up in that space of not knowing, and so I want to, so these words, Echezu-lanu, catch us, the foxes, um, the little foxes that raid our vineyard. So what the practice is to get a little bit wise to what your own patterns, where are the places you get caught, and maybe even what are the vulnerable times in your life. I've noticed for myself I notice that for myself when I get tired, the foxes sometimes slip in there, and kind of bring me into a little kind of a dull kind of space of depression and negativity. And so I want to sort of take extra good care of myself when I'm tired, so that I don't go down that foxhole.
Foxhole. Instead of rabbit hole.
So take a moment to just to like be aware of, say, maybe some of your own patterns, whether it's doubt or worry. I was with someone today that said that their well-being was really dependent on how their kids were doing.
Up and down, up
And I
and
said,
down.
oh, that's a little dangerous there, to sort of, have that, that your own well-being is dependent on something out there instead of something in here. So let's see if we can just kind of call on the awareness of the foxes in the mind and plant this awareness so that the next time we get caught, we'll remember this feeling here.
Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mechavlim, keramin, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, kiramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim.
In the silence, just close your eyes and find inside yourself the resolve to not be caught by those old patterns, to turn towards blessing, towards spaciousness, even if it means not knowing. And in that not knowing, allowing yourself to drop into the wisdom of the heart.
We need a roadie here. Come work. Work for life. Okay.
So, what I've learned about my own mind is that sometimes, I can't really stop the thoughts, but I can create some spaciousness. And I had this experience once. I was doing a retreat at home, and my meditation teacher, Sylvia Borstein, I made an agreement with her that I would call her each day. It was kind of like I was going to just be doing my practices, and once a day I would call and check in with her. And so about on the third day of my retreat, I called her, and she knows that I have this beautiful window that looks out on the whole valley and a big wide sky. And she told me about this practice that was the Tibetan practice of Dzogchen. And she taught me kind of like a version of Dzogchen that had to do with gazing at the sky. And like an eyes open meditation that didn't focus my attention, but just opened my eyes to the widest sense of the sky. And, maybe it was because it was the third day, but if something happened to me from that meditation of the sky, that what I noticed was that thoughts arose, but they could not survive the spaciousness. They just I didn't have to let them go by themselves. They dissolved because they couldn't bear the spaciousness of the sky. And it was a wonderful kind of freeing experience because I was used to meditation being like kind of like, okay, let go of this thought and this thought and this thought, and I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was watch them just dissolve. And it taught me something, and that that what I'm doing is creating the spacious mind that in which those foxes, those kind of like crazy thoughts, will just naturally dissipate, because of the atmosphere that I'm creating. In a way, I'm saying I am raising my vibration, and in that higher vibration, thoughts are they're just not happy. they don't like it there. And so instead of just trying to let go of thought after thought, what I need to do is create this kind of this atmosphere, this holy atmosphere. I need to raise my vibration, and so that I am not so much the victim of those thoughts. So the practice that I want to do, accessing the highest, for me is a practice that just like Hallelujah, it really does kind of raise the vibration, and so it changes my state, really. I was trying to put the thing here, but let's just see if I can do that. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So, v'azamra. And so I translate this as I will sing praise. So that's I will sing praise, so that I may know the highest essence of divine existence. I'm translating Shaym, the name, as the essence, So I will sing praise. V'azamra. Shaym-Havaya Elyon, and the Havaya is just existence itself. So the highest essence of divine existence. So when I'm chanting, before I begin a chant, there's sort of three parts of a chant. Before I begin the chant, I study the words and I call up an intention, and I realize why I need this chant, and I tune into all, it's like the meaning and the potential of the chant beforehand. And then during the chant itself, I let go of all of it and I just give myself to the chant, to the sounds, to the feelings in the body, to really like doing it as well as I can, as clear as I can, as powerfully as I can. I just give myself to those sounds. And then in the silence afterwards, I just notice what was the effect. And I take a moment, sometimes longer, to really just to be in the Mishkan, the holy place that has been created by the chant. So, so before we start, let's just to sort of say the yearning for that spaciousness, for that freedom, really, freedom from the constraints and the neurosis of the mind. I want to kind of call up that yearning and then pour it into the sounds of the chant. V'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon. 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 Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya
Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon Va'azamra Shaym-Havaya Elyon
So close your eyes, bring your attention to the breath. So if you can imagine a very wide space inside, just breathing into the heart, opening up a spaciousness, the wide sky of awareness. And in that spaciousness, we can surrender to not knowing and relax into this kind of a deeper place of our knowing, heart knowing. Life is really very simple. In each moment, we have the opportunity to choose between saying yes or no, to listen to our intuition, to that deep knowing place, to listen to our true inner voice, the existential voice within ourselves. When we say yes, we have contact with existence and we receive nourishment, love, joy, support, and inspiration. When we say no, we create a separation from life and begin to create dreams and expectations of how it should be. We begin to live in the memories of the past and in the fantasies of the future as if any other time than here and now really could make us happy and satisfied. Oh, that's a teaching from Swami Dayan Gitan.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, I think it comes down to that I want the idea of like we each taking responsibility for that inner atmosphere, for our own state, that, to develop the tools to be able to cultivate the kind of state in which, foxes just come and go. They don't
They don't nest
right.
like a den.
So it has to do then, when I think about my field,
It's a place where love grows. 'Cause love lives here.
love lives here.
Chef painted a sign.
I have a sign outside our house that says
outside the front
love
door.
love lives here.
Of course.
So what foxes do also is that they get attached very easily, and they cling. They kind of grab onto things, Sharon Salzberg has this teaching about non-attachment. She says to remember non-attachment is to remember what freedom is all about. If we get attached even to a beautiful state of being, we are caught, and ultimately we will suffer. We work to observe anything that comes our way, experiencing it while it is here, and be able to let it go. So that's what, foxes don't want to let it go. They just grab onto things. They won't let it go. So that the ability to, whatever comes through my inner landscape, it comes through, and I can allow it and let it go. When I thought about like what is it that protects me from those foxes, I think of what protects me is the field that I create, the inner atmosphere that I create, that field. And for those who have studied with me for many years, there is this very core practice that I call EFR, Energy Field Recharge, which is a way of filling my own field, my own presence, with the divine flow, rather than with my ego, really. And it became a very important practice to me because in order to keep my heart open and be vulnerable, which is what I need to do, I have to have like a strong presence, a strong field. And so there is another practice that is very similar to EFR, Energy Field Recharge, but it's just in these words from Psalm 7. I call it my protection. And it says Magini, which is like a shield or protection. And I say Magini al Elohim. My protection is all about the God fields. Moshiah yishray, that's what's gonna save me, to save my upright heart. That's what's gonna allow me to keep my heart open, is when I have that strong field.
Yeah.
And so that sense of that presence, which is not my presence, but God's presence through me. When I say Magini al Elohim, I'm just bringing awareness to this field of God flow that is sort of circling within and around me, that is filling the field of my presence. Magini al Elohim. And then I go inside and I say to my heart, hey, it's safe now, because this presence is going to protect you. So you can open, you can rise up within me. You don't have to hide. You don't have to be,
Afraid.
You don't have to have anything like defenses that are built around the heart. You can expand within me because of that. So when I'm doing the chant, I'm going from this awareness out here to the awareness in here, and I go back and forth, so that that sense of the God field is like informing my inner being that it is really okay. It is really that you are ultimately safe, and you can live with that upright, open heart. So see if as we chant it, as we're singing Magini al Elohim, become aware of the field, of the God field that you live inside of. And then when you say moshiah, yishray live, bring your attention to the inner place. Allow it to expand within you. Okay?
Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray, moshiah yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah yishray. Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah, yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah, yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah, yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah, yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah, yishray, Magini al Elohim, Magini al Elohim, moshiah, yishray, moshiah,
So keep your eyes closed and sense that kind of an inner portal of the heart, and allow the presence of God to pour out from that inner portal of the heart and just fill the field of your presence. So the stronger your presence is, the more the more filled with the God light, the more that you are protected from negativity, from the sort of the onslaught of the foxes, and then the more that you feel protected, the more that you open inside and expand. So that God field is your protection. And as those doubts and judgments and cynicisms, arise, they will be released, because they sort of like are a lower vibration, and so they can't really be sustained in that higher vibrational field. That's what my faith is.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it is.
Beverly Lanzetta says that despite the many possible roads to travel, all the paths all lead to the same ascent, one that will strip illusion from the mind through the releasing of doubt, judgment, cynicism, and despair. I'll just say that again. Despite the many possible roads to travel, the paths all lead to the same ascent, one that will strip illusion from the mind through the releasing of doubt, judgment, cynicism, and despair. So I think that's what happens when we bring awareness to the foxes. And she goes on to say that since what we seek is within us, the main emphasis of all spiritual work is the refinement and strengthening of love through a process that dissolves the impediments of the ego. Since what we seek is within us, the main emphasis of all spiritual work is the refinement and strengthening of love through a process that dissolves the impediments of the ego. Those impediments like doubt, judgment, cynicism, despair, those are the impediments that get dissolved, and they get dissolved in the God field that we create. So what I'm finding on my path is that the idea of devekut, the Hasidic ideal of devekut, is really becoming more and more central to the path of love. Devekut, to have a devekut is to be always connected to the larger reality, even as we go through the necessary kind of wrestles and struggles of life, and those transformations that are sometimes painful, but to always stay connected to that larger reality at the same time. So I wanted to do one last practice. I call this practice resilience, and it kind of paints a picture of those two different places. The places where we are besieged by the foxes, and it says Im elech bekerev tzara. Im elech bekerev tzara is even though those foxes are so kind of active and present in the mind, even though there is this tsuris that we deal with on a daily basis. At the very same time, tichayeni, at the very same time, it's possible to open up a channel to the divine flow in the midst of it all. So this is what dveikut is that channel can be open even though there's, I am, in the midst of my struggle, facing my challenges, working with my fears, all of the things that I need to do. But I am resourced. I am connected at the very same time. And so I love to do this practice as one that I want to plant that remembrance that the divine flow is always available, no matter where I go, how much I'm dealing with the pain of things. I want to open up that possibility. So the word techayeni is such a great word. If you look at the word, the middle of the word, it says chai, which is life. So this aliveness that I really, chai, and then the te means you, meaning like the great mystery, and the end of the word is ni, meaning me. So it literally means you, life, me. You give me that life power in order and connect me to the whole of life, so that I can walk through whatever I have to walk through, whatever it means to be human, which is sometimes the tsuris of it all, right? That I will always have that dvikut established in me. And the way that I like to do this is, if you feel moved, and Raphael could shroot, and I would move, that I like to feel it in my body, those places of tsuris, and also that place of opening up to the divine flow. So, I can do this one too, but just do it softly though. And so so if you feel like getting up and moving a little bit and feeling that in your body where that tsuris is, and feel the heaviness, the constraint, the constriction, and chant from there.
Bekerev tzara, Im B'kerev Sarah.
You do yourself, Joe.
Imelech B'kerev Sarah.
And now you open up those channels, open up to the infinite.
Tichayeni, Tichayeni.
Feel that in your body. And then you return to that treble place. B'kerev Sarah.
B'kerev Sarah.
Take a little tourist walk.
Imelech B'kerev Sarah.
And then open.
Tichayeni, Tichayeni.
Coming back into constriction.
Imelech B'kerev Sarah. Imelech B'kerev Sarah. Imelech B'kerev Sarah.
Open.
Tichayeni, Tichayeni. Imelech B'kerev Sarah. Imelech B'kerev Sarah. Imelech B'kerev Sarah. Tichayeni, 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 Tichayeni.
Guess we want to stay in the life energy.
Tichayeni, 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 Tichayeni,
And once more. So take a moment to feel that openness inside, the kind of permeability to the divine flow, that you are resourced. That life force can sustain you through whatever you need to go through as part of our human journey, and that whatever we can fill up with that divine flow and then overflow as our generosity in the world. Always staying connected. And just breathe into that sense of fullness and overflow. And plant that memory of access to divine flow in your body, so that when, in the moments of constriction, you can return to it. And those foxes won't stand a chance.
Boy, that worked for me. Did that work for you? I'm there.
So, since what we seek is within us, this main emphasis of all spiritual work is the refinement and strengthening of love through a process that dissolves the impediments of the ego. So, and I think when we, come together, even on Zoom, it kind of, magnifies the power of the practice that we're doing. And so we want to take a minute just to look around the KZOOM room and give a blessing to everybody that's here, to thank each other for our practice. And I just want to say that just announce that on February 13th, we're going to have an app launch event online.
On Zoom.
And I would love for you to be there to officially launch the Flavors of Praise app.